Hey guys, it's Jenny with Creature Cove, and it's May, which around here means Rosy Boa breeding season. Okay, I have found in the past they mainly stick to the evenings, it seems, to do their duties, but maybe we'll catch something cool, who knows. So we're gonna be pairing Poppy, who's the female, and Slinky, who's our male, named by Finn. These were the Cabo San Lucas locales that we did the unboxing for. So they have actually already been brumated, and when I received them, I brought them back up to temp, and now that it's May, we're gonna go ahead and pair them up and see what happens. You can do it one of two ways. You can put the male into the female's enclosure, which is what most people do, or you can put the female into the male's enclosure, which is what I normally do because my females are very food motivated. They become super aggressive to where I can't really even you can't get close to them without them grabbing you. So I hesitate putting the male into the female's enclosure for fear that she's just gonna strike before she even sees what I'm putting in there. But I spoke with the breeder that had bred these in the past, and this specific pair, he has always introduced the male into the female's enclosure, so we're gonna stick with that. The first thing I did though was I simplified her tank. I normally keep them on aspen. Last week I took the aspen out and I'm just doing paper towels. I have an under the tank heat mat, it's set at 90, and I just have a cool side hide, a hot side hide, a rock for shedding, and a plant and a water dish for now. And she's out, she's looking inquisitive, I hope in a good way. So we're just gonna go ahead and put him right in. Now, when I do it, I watch intently for the first couple hours as I am making sure they're not gonna fight. She's not trying to eat him, whatever, they can get aggressive. All right, Slinky, are you ready to be a daddy, hopefully again? So here's our Slinky boy. Good luck, my friend. And we'll just put him right in. And at first, since she went into her hide, I'm actually gonna pick this up so they can see each other. This way, babes. Be nice to the boy. So what we're looking for at this point is no aggression, obviously, is the first thing. And then they're just gonna kind of sniff each other with their tongues. And eventually, like I said, this doesn't always happen at first, but the male will start trying to line himself up with the female. And the way they mate is obviously with their cloaca area. So he'll try to line up his cloaca to her cloaca. And that's kind of when his hemipenes will pop out and go into the female's cloaca. So he will try his hardest. A lot of the females will play hard to get, and they'll kind of just roam around saying, "You're not gonna get me," and he'll just follow her. So they'll go around in circles for a while until they figure it out. But yeah, this is looking good so far. I don't have any signs that the female is going to attack him. Again, I'll pop my head in and out right now for the next few hours, and then daily I'll check and make sure that they're both still in there, they're both still healthy, nobody's got any injuries, and we'll call it good. Okay, so while I was setting up, the male decided to go in the cool side hide, probably because it's the only spot to hide in right now, but she's still kind of in search for him. So while we're just kind of keeping an eye on these guys, I will go through kind of like the step-by-step on their breeding. So step one is brumate, but that is like a whole nother video in itself, so that will be separate to this breeding video. But you want to brumate them. That would be step one. Step two comes March, when you are going to wake them up from brumation and bring them back up to their normal temperatures. Once you've done that and they have warmed up to their normal temps, you're going to start feeding the females weekly. And you're going to do that to plump them up and get their bodies ready to be able to have babies and keep them healthy. The males you can keep on their normal schedule. I feed my males every 10 days to 2 weeks. So we'll keep them normal. That's going to be March through April. So feed your females, fatten them up weekly. Then come May, as long as both male and female are looking healthy, they seem to be doing great, that's when you're going to start introductions. So we usually do like May 1st-ish. We will introduce our male to our female, and then we will keep them in there until July. So usually May through July, they're housed together. And the way you kind of know when it's time to separate them is eventually your female will find her hot spot, and she usually won't really leave it, if ever. She'll just stay on her hot spot, and then the male will kind of wander around aimlessly, no longer seeming interested in doing anything productive for the female. So that's when you know, hopefully everything has taken, the process is working well, she's starting like the reproductive process going on inside, so she just stays on the hot spot. Also at this time, you'll notice that she may slow down or stop feeding altogether. So I will, once I remove the male, when he wants really nothing to do with the situation anymore, I'll pull him out and I'll start either slowing down her feedings or offering much smaller meals. So like a fuzzy instead of her large mouse that she normally eats. I'll switch her up and just do fuzzies. If she's gonna, I offer all the time, even if they do completely stop eating, just in case. And then typically they'll go into a shedding cycle, and that's what they call the prelay shed. And around 90 days after they've shed is when she'll usually drop her babies. And because they're live bearers, I don't know why I call it a litter instead of a clutch, but they have live babies. A lot of times, you know, you could get some stillborns, but most of the time they're alive. And I've seen anywhere usually from as low as 3 babies to as high as like 8. They don't have huge clutches like some boas do. You know, some can have in the 20s, but these guys they do have smaller clutches, probably because they're a smaller snake. But anyway, so that's pretty much the process in a nutshell. So these guys are looking great. I don't see any sign of her wanting to do anything naughty. She's just kind of sniffing around. And I'll keep an eye on them. Hopefully he'll come out and start following him around. I see him peeking once in a while. But yeah, so I'll leave it here and we will check back in a bit and see if anything cool happens. Well, I've been watching them for a little while now and I haven't found anything too interesting, just your typical following around, introducing each other. I was super happy to see that there was no aggression, so that gives me a lot of hope that these two are gonna pair just fine. And like I said before, they've paired in the past, so there's no reason really why it shouldn't work again, fingers crossed. But we will know come fall if they have done their job and have produced babies. Breeding is simple once you get started, and I shouldn't say simple. It's a little anxiety, it's a little happiness, a little scaredness all mixed together, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun. It's fun to do. It's fun to watch. It's fun to see what kind of babies you get out of the litters. And I love it. I love doing it. I love the whole process. It's really cool for me and for the kids, for them to go through it all. It can cause some pretty interesting questions out of them. But if you have any questions, leave them down below. I just want to point out there again that this is just the way that we do it here and that we have found works for us and what typically happens here. We do live in the Midwest where temps and humidities are a lot different than their normal places, so we have to recreate things the best we can here for them. Sometimes that changes habits, sometimes that changes timing, you know, timelines and whatnot, but we do the best we can here, and this is what we do, and I am just giving you guys the information that we have collected our way, and you know, we know it works for us, so I figured I would share it with you guys. I mean, other than that, that's about it. I'll just keep an eye on these guys. I'll check them daily. I'll still obviously, oh, I did want to mention too, with feeding, once they are paired together, some people will feed them at the same time in the same enclosure. So like if they happen to have the same feeding day one of the weeks, they'll feed them at the same time in their enclosure. I won't do that. Again, my females are very aggressive and usually eat super fast. Like they can get a mouse down a lot faster than my males can get their mouse down. So I don't want the female to then like rush over to the male and try taking his and then get him swallowed along with the mouse. It doesn't seem safe to me logically. So I will actually take my male out. I'll feed him in a separate tub, and I've never had issues with them not eating when I do it that way. They all seem to eat just fine, but I'll take them out, put them in a separate tub, feed them, and then after about an hour after they've both finished their whole mouse and it's, you know, being digested, I will then put the tub into the tank with the male in it, and I'll just let him come out when he's good and ready, and then I'll just take this out. I hope you liked it, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.